And welcome to the Metal Queens podcast and another episode. I'm Steve Richards. This is the podcast where we celebrate fierce voices, fearless creativity, and women who are redefining heavy music on their own terms. Today's guest is truly one of a kind, born in Israel, raised on stage, trained in chemistry, and shaped by life across continents. Eden of Shoo Bee Doom brings together elegance, intensity, and swing-infused metal in a way that feels both vintage and dangerous too. Eden, welcome to the Metal Queens podcast.
Thank you for having me, Steve. I really like this introduction.
Thank you. And Eden joining us from Germany today. So you were performing on stages in your local community from a very young age. What did music represent to you back then? And when did you realize it was something that you would carry for life?
Right. So actually, I was born into music, kind of, you can say. My dad was this kind of person who would play on almost every instrument. We had drums at home and keyboard and guitar, obviously. He would write his own songs and record it on like those analog machines that I've never understood. And we would have several CD players at home. So every time I got back from school, I would put some music on, and there's always music around me. And as you said, since at the age of 5, I'm like dancing on the stage, and I most of the time in school, I did not see any ceremony or any kind of, play from the crowd perspective. I was always on stage. I always loved it. For me, it is my happy place. So yeah, music is really something that I carried from really, really young age, and I was always the one to be first with MP3 player and with the cassette, with Walkman and all those gadgets just to make sure I have music around me constantly. And from young age, it wasn't really matter which kind of music as long as I had fun with it. But yeah, the taste of music got developed with time, as
Mm.
you can imagine.
All right, I want to talk chemistry here. So you pursued a chemistry degree. You
Yeah.
became a chemistry teacher too. Not only got the degree, became a teacher as part of your army service, an intense and very disciplined path. How did that scientific mindset shape your creativity as an artist?
Whew, I never connected the two together, to be
Mm.
honest. But I would say the part of the chemistry that was intriguing for me was curiosity and understanding how the world works. So for me, it was like really the discovery and understanding of how the world is operating. And this is the kind of thing that always stuck with me even now. And I would say, just like you have a recipe for cooking and like you have the recipe for, chemistry, whatever it is you want to create, same thing with music. You need some materials together that you combine and you create something beautiful. I think with music you can play around a little bit more and it's less dangerous, but um yeah, but I think for me the part of chemistry was really that in exploration of the world. I left it at this point. I have a bachelor, but for me, the part that I loved about chemistry, I studied chemistry first in high school and then I moved to the university. What I loved about it in high school did not stick around for the university. It was too much of like data and, going more into the writing all of the test results and all those kind of things that for me it was lacking the part of exploration and curiosity that I liked about it. So yeah, it has some connection, but not necessarily directed one.
So did you ever feel like you had to choose between being the scientist or the performer?
Well, when I went to university, it was after in high school, I was, as I said, like truly into music and truly into singing and all of that. And it was kind of that pivotal point where I started thinking like my parents wanted me to think of, okay, playtime is over.
Mm.
We need to start being adults. And I kind of put it on a back burner a little bit. I mean, I was obviously constantly with music. I was studying with music. Some people think I'm crazy, but I could not leave music away and alone. But I could also not, I didn't feel comfortable pursuing it at this point because you need to be an adult. And it's kind of the pathway that my parents wanted me to be in. So find something that you can do in the university, go for it, and then have a career. They didn't know that their child is actually an entrepreneur and and a musician and yeah, artist, however you want to call it. And that would not align with what I actually can and want to do later on. Yeah.
2017 was a big year for you. You and your husband, Tom, um, made the leap from Israel to Germany to start a brand new life. What was the transition like emotionally and creatively with that move?
It was a big part. So for us. So I will take a few step back before that. When I first met Tom, we actually met on Facebook, fun fact. And when he wanted to meet for a date, the first date, and I told him before we go on a date, I need to check a few things. And then one important part was what kind of music do you like? Because for me, it might sound silly, but the one thing I want to avoid at all cost with my future partner is that our music taste will clash to the extent of we are driving in a long ride in a car and he's starting to fight me over music. That is the kind of scenario I didn't want to have in the future. So I was like, we need to first make sure that it aligns. And he did, and he is into metal, and he had his own metal band at this point. And he was like, "Hey, we're looking also for a singer." So hey, perfect. I didn't end up being this his singer in his band, but we did end up together. And I told him, "Oh, and one important part: if you want to come to me with me on a date, you need to know I'm leaving Israel at some point. So and if you are all for it, then you're coming." And so he was like, "Sure." And then we have decided on exactly when and where to. We landed on Germany, and the part for him, which was very important, is obviously taking his instruments and what are we doing with his band? It was important. So yeah, he actually took his band, quote unquote, with him because it was his brother who stayed in Israel, but also a friend who also moved to Germany to the same city with us 5 months later. So you can say that he also did not leave the music behind. So, but we had this dream that we would come to Germany and he would start a music studio because he's also an audio engineer. So that would be kind of our breakthrough into music. And also, if you don't know, Israel is not really into metal that much. Definitely not as much as Germany. So for us, Germany was also that pathway into metal, into like being in the better community or the one that fits us better. So that was kind of the dream behind this.
All right, so let's talk swing metal now. Swing and metal, Eden, don't usually live in the same sentence.
No.
What drew you to that collision of styles, and what does swing metal allow you to express that some of the other genres wouldn't?
Right. So actually that was Tom's idea, was my husband's idea. As we said, he had his metal band. It was like 8 years already in the making. And I started my own business, not related to chemistry, not related to anything else. That was a relocation company, and we worked together in the same company full time as well. And he was like, "I want to have a new project." And he gave me three ideas, and one of them was swing metal. I was like, hmm. I never heard of swing metal before, but that sounds interesting. And it's important to mention that, as we said, we are both metalheads, but 2, 3 years prior to that point, we discovered electro swing. That was like the music for us to clean the house.
Hmm.
Like you cannot stay seated and, with no motivation when you have electro swing playing. That's what we discovered. So that started integrated into our home and into our life. And at that point, he was like, "Hey, swing metal, what do you think about it?" I'm like, "We can do swing metal, but just because I have my own business, you have your band, how about we won't put any pressure on it? We just make it as our fun couples activity." So we did that, and we started creating our first song, Old School Medicine. And we loved it so much, and we were like, we never heard something like that before, so maybe we should put it out there. And that's how the idea was born. And we were like, okay, we're gonna make a full-on band from this idea. He came up with the name just like, you know, like that. And yeah, from that on, that started, as you said, it didn't live before maybe together. Now it started to. What is fun about it is we can play so much with it. And the fact that jazz is such a broad genre, and we have funk metal, we now created blues metal, and it's like you can do so much. And I never knew that brass instruments could fit so well with metal. And I think now that I know it, I cannot unknow it. It's like
Yes.
this is the kind of thing that I'm missing so much now in metal. We need more brass instruments into metal. That was
Yeah.
incredible discovery.
As a former sax player, I agree 100%. And this is very
Absolutely.
interesting, by the way. I had never heard of this genre of metal, but it's very interesting. And check out their videos and music. And yeah, very broad. You can go, a lot of different directions with this, which is very cool. And Shoo Bee Doom has a brand new album, their debut album coming out. Big couple of
Yeah.
weeks coming up for you here. Devil's Dance. It drops on February 5th. What does that title represent to you on a personal level?
Well, first of all, it is the name of one of our songs that we created. And for us, it was kind of because it's a debut, it's the first album. It was for us the representation of how we are luring people into this world, right? Because we're kind of putting the devil's dance into what is the kind of magic, or the I don't know how you would call this, but like let's say the magic that the devil is doing in order to pull you into his world with his dance. So this is for us kind of the way we are treating this whole discovery of swing metal. Let's go with that for our listeners. So we are pulling them into our world with this devil's dance. And I think it's important for us because this is how we introduce it to the world, I would say.
I'm always fascinated by band names here on the Metal Queens podcast. So Shoo
For
Bee
sure.
Doom, who came up with that name? What's the meaning behind it?
So that's Tom. And it was really a spur of a moment kind of thing. He was thinking about the scatting that comes from swing, the shooby doop doop dee doop. And together with Doom, which is the metal part. And I think it's and funny part, he was like saying, "What? So should we call it like Shoo Bee Doom?" It was like joking about it. I was like, "Yes,
That's it.
absolutely." He was thinking that I would say no. What do you think? It was like, no, that was it, and we're not turning back. And I think it was the most perfect name he could have, bring up. It was amazing.
Yeah,
And I think it also helps us immediately for people to kind of have that click. When I say swing metal, they're like, and then I say should be doing like, yes.
yeah.
It's like another piece of the puzzle. And although they have to listen to the music in order to fully understand it, but at least it's another one that kind of helps them to click it in. Yeah.
Yeah, very catchy.
I'm yeah, fully happy with this name.
Creating a band with your spouse isn't always easy, Eden. What have you learned about communication, trust, and creativity through working so closely with Tom earlier? I mean, he's right behind, sits right behind you.
Yeah. You can see here the whole station. Um, that is the part that am looking for people to ask about because I think we had the feeling that at least from creating a band perspective would bring some issues because you would imagine that if you now want to join a band and then somebody's coming and tell you, hey, we're a couple that formed a band, it's kind of like, hey, we're a couple who formed a business. It's like, when is the chaos gonna come and when is the breakup gonna come? You're waiting for that. And we from the get-go were like, look, we're gonna put our relationship on one side and our business and music on the other side, and they're not going to mess with each other. That was like from point one, the kind of agreement we had. But also, we discovered we're working so well together already prior to that. So we kind of were waiting for that perfect opportunity to do something together. So that was really the perfect one. And what we love about working with each other is first, easy. We can start writing songs with like Sunday morning with our pajamas and coffee, and we're good to go. And it also brings us very close together. We discovered when we are writing songs together, it's like a magic connection that's happening. It's beautiful. And I think the clashes and the challenges come when we have the difference in characteristics. So Tom, for example, is a very perfectionist guy. We managed to mellow it down a little bit together,
Mhm.
but I am the opposite. So I will be happy to release stuff that are not polished. He is not. And we kind of, in this way, find balance and we manage to release stuff, which is great. But sometimes those percentages of I think it's 80% ready, they think it's 60, and it's like I need to somehow stop him from doing the 500 iteration. That can bring some tension. But we learn how to communicate about it, and I think it's just gonna get hopefully better with time.
Mhm.
Yeah, but it's also fun, doing performance with your husband, and if we ever tour, then we can tour together. We're not gonna miss each other. I think it's a plus.
Yes. And that's going to be my next question. Of course, the album release coming out, Devil's Dance, on February 5th. So, what's the plan beyond that? Touring, videos, more new music?
Oh yeah, I mean, first of all, we have released almost all the songs from the album, but one song is still missing, or not missing, is waiting to be released with the rest of the album. And this is the one that will be finalizing the album, but Tom already has a full material for a second album, so you don't have to, sit and wait and see if that will ever come. It will absolutely gonna come. And since we have our studio at home, super easy to do all of that. But we have planned a short tour in Germany for 4 dates, and also some festivals are coming our way for this year. And my personal wish is to also go for beyond Germany. We did have last year a concert in Poland, which was amazing. I can
Mm.
only recommend Polish people as a crowd. That was so fantastic. But UK is on my radar. I really want to play in UK, and we'll see. Hopefully, that's going to come sooner than later, but slowly, slowly.
Yes. Well, be sure to check out Shoo Bee Doom's debut album, Devil's Dance. It drops on February 5th. And keep your eyes on this band. A lot more new music to come. They're only just getting started here. And watch and follow them on
Just warmed
social
up.
for upcoming tour dates in Europe and beyond, hopefully, as well. Eden from Shoo Bee Doom, thank you so much for joining me here on the Metal Queens podcast.
Thank you. It was a pleasure, Steve.
And thank you for watching. Like it, share it, subscribe to it, write a review. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts, and a few more too. I'm Steve Richards. I will talk to you again next time.